I'm Angela from Savvy Homemade, and today I'm going to show you how to make a perfect pillar candle. They create wonderful atmosphere and make great gifts for family and friends. When you're shopping for the wax, make sure you get a pillar blend. This is usually paraffin, but you can get soy pillar blends as well. So to find out how much wax you will need, fill your mould with water, weigh the contents and then subtract 20%. This should pretty much give you the amount of wax you'll need. In order to melt your wax, we'll need to use a water bath. Fill a pan with a couple of inches of water and place the jug into it. Place on a low heat and allow it to melt slowly. While you're waiting for your wax to melt, it's a good idea to start preparing your mould. You'll need to cut a piece of wick about a couple of inches longer than the mould itself. So grab your wick and thread the needle through the eye. Now you'll need to take it through the inside of the mould and out through the top. You'll need some candle sealant to fix the wick in place, and it also stops the wax seeping through the hole. The final part of preparing your mould is to centre the wick. You'll need to pull the wick nice and tight, then secure it by wrapping it around a piece of bamboo or your wicking needle, or even a pencil is good for this. Just secure it with a little bit of candle sealant. Stop it moving around. Once the wax is melted, we're going to add a colour and fragrance. It's always best to add the colour first. Then if you do need to remelt it for any reason, you can do that without worrying about overheating the fragrance. The amount of dye to add will depend on the strength of dye you have. The one I'm using is super concentrated, so I'll only need a tiny bit. Once you've added the colourant, give it a really good stir to make sure it's all dissolved. Now it's time to add the fragrance. I roughly know how much to use, but as a guideline, I'd say around 7% of the total wax would be a good place to start. Sometimes if your fragrance is cold, it can start to harden the wax. If this happens, just gently remelt it. As with the colour, give it a really good stir. Once you're happy with colour and fragrance, it's time to pour your wax. Pour your wax slowly, keeping the wick central. Pour to around an inch from the rim, leaving some of the wax for topping up later. Pop it to one side to cool. This should take an hour or so, depending on the size of your mould. Once the wax has cooled, you'll notice the candle has started to sink in the middle. Take a bamboo skewer and push it through the wax down to about a couple of inches from the bottom, making sure to avoid the sides and the wick. You'll need to make around 5 or 6 of these holes. Remelt the wax, use it to fill in the holes and a thin layer on top for a smooth finish. So now we just need to wait for the candle to set. The longer the better really, so if you can, overnight is perfect. Now the candle has hardened, you'll notice that it started to shrink around the sides. So once you release it from the candle sealant, it should slide out nice and easy. So now it's just the finishing touches. You'll want to trim the bottom of the wick as close to the candle as you can so that it sits nice and flat. If your candle is looking a bit dull and chalky, this can be fixed using a pair of nylon tights. give the candle a good rub down until you're happy with the finish. So there you have it, a perfect and beautiful scented candle. For more DIY gifts and homemade crafts, visit savvyhomemade.com.